Okay. Hey, did you tag Lee and everything? You want to tag
I'm going
him?
to, yeah.
Okay.
You gotta go live
So she'll
first.
tag you and whatever.
Okay. Just let me know when that's all up so I could,
It's up now.
So
They can see you now.
they can?
But she probably hasn't tagged you yet.
Oh, okay.
There's the camera. Hello. Lee Goldberg's here. All right, you guys want to go on the radio?
Let's
do it.
go.
Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Thank you for spending your evenings here with us, 8 o'clock p.m. on our favorite sports radio station. We follow live, local, and loud. Excellent show tonight. Nikki, football, and the crew. You can also watch the TV programs this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30 on CBS. It is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. And then Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., TV 27. It is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television. So watch us this weekend and every weekend. And also you can watch on social media every single weeknight. Follow at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Anywhere else, Brianna? I mean, that's enough, isn't it?
Twitch.
Don't even talk to me about Twitch. What is Twitch?
An audience on Twitch.
Is that right?
No, that's actually right.
What, like 4?
No, it's actually higher than our YouTube audience.
Oh, really?
Which is, I mean, not going to lie, it shocked
So
me.
I shouldn't talk trash about Twitch on the program is what you're telling me.
Because they're watching.
Okay. Very special show in store for you today. We're going to do some news. We'll also play Stump the Clarkie in the second half hour. And an outstanding interview throughout the show with a good friend of the program, Lee Goldberg with GCI. Let me welcome you in, first of all, Lee. How you been, brother? Good to see you.
So glad to be here.
You
What
know,
an honor, by the way. Seriously.
Most people that live in Orlando find a second home in a place that's not quite as hot. You're like, we'll go find another place in Vegas, too. Right? You're supposed to be in New Hampshire or Maine or something, but tell me about this Vegas thing. How did it happen, first of all?
Well, it happened about 2 years ago. I had a person that used to work with us here. She moved out there, and she's like, you really got to take a look and see what's going on. I knew nothing, and I'm not a gambler. I'm not a drinker. I'm not a partier. So everything that Vegas is, I'm not. So for me, it works out well. And so I kept investigating and checking out the market. And what I figured out was 2 things. One, I see the future. And number 2, Vegas is Orlando 2 to 3 years behind us.
Is that right?
Yeah. So where we were 2 years ago, that's what they're coming out of. They're just slightly behind us. And so I said, okay, knowing what I know now, if I could go back in the DeLorean, go, 1.21 gigawatts, right? Go back in time and redo it with the GCI guys and the branding, which, again, you did coin the phrase.
That's right.
Behind the microphone. And so I said, all right, let's do this. So I got my license, came through a year ago, April 20th this past year. So a year and a half now. And it's starting to pop. It really is. And, we got a place out there, and I love it. I love Central Florida. I've been here 17 years, not abandoning it, not going anywhere, but literally 50-50, splitting my physical time, but my personal time or my business time is 5 a.m. starting for Orlando.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day.
So we're going to do some news, and we're going to talk all things GCI in the Orlando real estate market with Lee Goldberg. But first, Brianna, what's in the news? I got to start the news today, first of all.
Here we go.
This is something we talked about the other day. I don't know. It might have been yesterday. It might have been last week. I can't keep up.
What is it?
But Lee Goldberg, former sports anchor extraordinaire, right?
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But did you see, and I was hoping this was a bad dream, nightmare, so to speak, that the Paris Olympics has now
Oh, God, yes, I know where you're going.
essentially
Yes.
authorized breakdancing as an official Olympic sport. Lee Goldberg, what are your thoughts?
I don't know if you saw it on social media, my thoughts. This is a complete joke. Is this 1984?
It's nuts.
Where is, are we going to have parachute pants and are we going to have cardboard? And honestly here, fitness pole dancing should be an Olympic sport before this. And if the pommel horse is a sport for men, I'm serious, why is that not a sport for women? There are thousands of women out there, and not from that end of things. I'm talking about strictly from athletic performance for men and women. How is that not a sport of the Olympics? And breakdancing? Get out of here.
I mean, to me, it might literally mean that the Olympics has jumped the shark, so
It's
to
over.
speak. I
It's
mean, I
done.
think the Olympics might be done once breakdancing.
Yeah.
And I'm being somewhat funny, but I'm not in a way too. I mean, breakdancing.
I love breakdancing. Again, in 1984, I lived that. I was in 4th grade. I had the parachute pants with the zippers. And if you had the biggest, baddest cardboard with the best black marker, like this type of industrial-sized Sharpie,
right.
you were the kid in town. And my breakdancing skills were awful, just for the record.
Oh.
So how's it going to go? Well, Gerald, we
don't
see
know.
his neck muscles are doing great in the head spin portion of the breakdancing. We'll see what happens with the windmill coming up here on the Ocho.
Yeah, you know, when I'm walking down the streets of Vegas, just like anyone else, I'll stop and watch the crazy dance troupe or the guy putting the string through his nose or whatever and give him $10. I'm fine with that. But to make it an Olympic sport, I think that something's wrong with the society.
I gotta find the guy with the string through the nose. I don't know what you're speaking of.
Yeah, I've seen that guy. Maybe that was in Daytona Beach on the boardwalk. I'm not sure. One of the two. All right, Brianna, what's going on in the news?
All right. So in the news, we have.
I love your music, by the way.
Thanks.
Isn't it like upbeat?
It's the news
Me
music.
too.
So kicking off the news today with something I found particularly interesting. Did
Uh-oh.
you see that Starsky Robotics released information that they tested a self-driving semi on the Florida Turnpike in Tampa last month? This happened. They told us this just yesterday, released the information. They said that the truck drove unmanned for almost 10 miles. And the other motorists on the road were completely unaware. So I want your thoughts on that.
I mean, can you still say unmanned? Is that appropriate?
I'm just curious about the turnpike part in Tampa.
Yeah.
Maybe I-75. And
I
do they
know.
pay the tolls as well, by the way? Do they have the E-Pass? Listen, I think we're at a point where the Jetsons lied to me my whole entire life. Where's this future
Yeah.
I want a flying car.
Right? So, you know what? Maybe if every car was actually that could drive itself, I'd love that. We could work while we're driving, put in a destination. There's so many awful drivers that are out there. If every vehicle could speak to each other and move in concert together, we don't even need stoplights anymore.
Yeah, I fully agree. Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando, Justin Clark, the beautiful Brianna here talking to Lee Goldberg with the GCI guys real estate. But seriously, can you say unmanned? I thought you have to be, isn't that politically incorrect at this point?
Unpersoned.
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 Yeah, that's
Driverless.
Okay, it was
A
driverless.
driverless
I
carriage.
mean, were you offended when it said unmanned?
No.
I mean, why are we just assuming a man would be there?
Well,
We should get away from this, right?
well, maybe we should. I'm like,
I should have never brought this up. This is
Maybe
a bad
not. You're
idea.
a man that brought it up.
Ter-
What's happening?
Anyway, so trucks now are driving themselves. Fine. Okay.
I think it's kind of scary that it's a semi, but whatever. I guess we couldn't have started with, like a Fiat or something small. Whatever.
What else is in the news today?
Well, the beloved board game Monopoly is coming back with this new AI technology that's making it harder for players to cheat.
What?
You could
How?
cheat a Monopoly? How do
Yeah,
you cheat
I
a
have no
Monopoly?
idea.
Apparently, you've never been the banker before. When I was the banker, that means I had unlimited funds.
Understood.
So the game is now equipped with the voice banking, so it handles and keeps all of your cash and your transactions. So it's like paperless Monopoly. All transactions are run through, I guess, like the top hat in the middle of the game, and you can't pocket cash anymore. You can't cheat.
You know what? This is the future. If Bitcoin's a thing, this is a thing. Now it's going to be digital monopoly money.
Digital Monopoly.
And it's going to be there with Bitcoin.
So instead of $20 to buy the Monopoly set, how much does it cost now, you think?
I don't know. They said it's released. It's dropping on Monday, so I can check on Amazon for you and let you know.
I mean, what board games did you guys play when you were little? Do you remember?
Shoots and ladders.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was the jam.
Life.
What was the one where you have ships and you fire back and forth? And you shoot?
Battleship.
Yeah, I played a little Battleship.
Yeah, not a whole lot of that one.
Played Risk.
No, what's the
hate
other
Risk.
one? If I heard it, I would know it.
Scrabble.
No.
Sorry.
I played some
Sorry.
Scrabble.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
Ah.
played Sorry,
Yeah,
too.
Sorry was a good one.
List them all.
And Monopoly, yeah. But Game Boy came out in '86.
Oh, yeah, Tetris.
So, like, I was in the right spot at the right time. 6th grade, like, bye-bye board games. Hello, Nintendo.
Good old
Meanwhile,
handheld.
my kid at my age, she's got an iPhone 10 and a tablet and a watch and all this
All these
garbage.
great
And the apps on her phone and the games are amazing. And I had Tetris.
Oh,
I had
Tetris was
I had
great.
Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt was good.
On Nintendo? Or on, I don't remember Duck Hunt on the...
Not Game Boy. That was the
Game Boy.
regular NES.
Yeah.
The
Oh, yeah.
original,
Please,
you know,
I
with the
played
gun.
Duck Hunt. Of
Yeah.
course, absolutely.
For sure.
Anything else in the news today?
Nothing other than after almost 3 months, we're going to be coming back and finally recording Behind the Law in the studio tomorrow.
Okay, and
Are you excited?
what am I supposed to wear?
whatever you want.
What are you wearing?
I was nervous about this, by the way. I didn't know what I was getting into today. And then I got here, I'm like, oh my gosh, I wear shorts. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
fine.
And when I would anchor back in the day, especially in Midland, Odessa, Texas, I would always wear shorts under my suit.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
like
right?
a news anchor. Just
Yeah.
put the top up. That's all we got to worry
With
about.
flip-flops. It was 110 out in West Texas.
Odessa, Texas. We're going to ask Lee Goldberg how he went from the news desk to being one of the best-known realtors in all of Central Florida, and now Las Vegas as well. We'll do all that right on the other side of this very short break. Justin Clark with you on Behind the Law.
This is awesome, guys. This really is. What a genius freaking idea, man.
That's funny.
It's actually fun once you get going, too.
It is.
It really is. I like that music.
A dragon.
I wish I had MC Hammer to play, but I don't.
Is that what you want, Justin? MC Hammer?
Well, just because of that.
What's going on, Lee G?
Hey.
GCI guys, we got Justin Clark, Brianna in the house. We're here recording on ESPN Radio 580 tonight at 8 p.m. This is Behind the Law. We're talking real estate. We're talking sports. We're talking Monopoly and
Yeah.
cheating. And
Basically, whatever we want.
Whatever.
that one over there. See, I can never be a weather guy. That's why I'm a sports guy. I don't know what point I'm in. Anyways, check it out live right now on Facebook at Behind the Law.
Behind the Law Radio. That's right.
Behind the Law Radio. Check it out. Or Justin Clark.
All right.
I feel like now we have to always say holla.
Holla?
That's my
Like, that's
thing.
it.
I end every video.
It's gonna be. That's it. We're taking over.
Yeah, I definitely don't have any MC Hammer here to bring us back from the break.
Sorry. I think the most upbeat song you have is.
All right, you ready?
Hold on. Let me just.
Now back to
post-
Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. Justin Clark with you on Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. The beautiful Brianna to my right on the blue microphone, and across from her, directly to my left, it is Lee Goldberg with Revolution Realty, the GCI guys on the red mic. Lee, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
So glad to be here. I'm doing awesome today. Thank you.
So there are a lot of people out there who have, been working for the man for so long. They've been punching that clock, and they do think that this whole real estate business is easy. That you go show a couple of houses on a Saturday and Sunday, and you take the rest of the week off. And,
I wish.
And I try to make it very clear to them that to be a successful real estate agent, I mean, it's pretty much a 24-hour work day every single day. I mean, your phone's always constantly attached to you. I mean, what's it really like? What does it take to become a successful real estate agent?
Well, I have two phones.
See that?
Listen, this is not easy. One of my clients just asked me the other day. They called me up and said, "Lee, what do you think if I got my license?" And I'd say, "Well, whatever you do, don't quit your job."
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people come and go very quickly. It's hard. The job itself is actually easy. The finding of the business and then the dealing of personalities, or when things go bad, or sometimes unfortunately everything is our fault. I mean, sorry, you should know to turn the utilities on, sir. It's not my fault. It's not an easy job. It's tough. It's very stressful. You got to figure out balance. Balance is key. But yeah, there's some realtors, and I respect it. They don't answer their phone after 5, and they don't work on the weekends, and that's awesome. That works for them. For me, that's just not me. I'm always going to be available for my customers and my clients. And the people who are in my life understand we're building something here, right? I'm not just trying to be a realtor. I'm trying to be like you. I'm trying to build a big business that can turn into something one day and hopefully have it in multiple cities. And so that takes a lot. And I have a drive that's in me that just won't let me quit. But the people around me know that, hey, listen, Daddy might have to answer the phone, but we're going to be at the beach when I answer the phone that day, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
where we might be in line at Disney, we're going to have to answer the phone. Otherwise, I could work 9 to 5 and not answer the phone, but then we might not have what we have. So we're very fortunate at the same time, but it's tough, man.
And at one point in life, in your career, you were working for the man, so to speak, but your career story is different than most in that you were punching a clock at television stations. How did you get into broadcasting, and what did you do?
Well, I started in radio, actually. In South Florida, when I was in 8th grade, I said I want to be a sportscaster. And I just went with it. And I was lucky to be at the only high school in the time Piper High School.
Shout out.
Yeah, that had a FM radio station. And so it was an alternative radio station, which was completely not my genre. Later in life it would be, but at the time it wasn't. And so I would say, hey, listen, you got to give me equal time and let me get an interview with Dan Marino. Can we air it? And I got an interview at Hooters with Dan Marino. My mom took me to the Dan Marino show at Hooters on a Wednesday night. So, that's how it went from there. And then college at USF. And then, which, by the way, I like UCF football more than USF football. Let's get that out of the way. And then from there, Laredo, Texas, Mexican border, making $15,000 a year.
What market is Laredo, Texas? Do you remember Media Market?
I think then it was like 194.
Out of
205.
Yeah.
I applied everywhere. I had an offer in Scottsbluff, Nebraska.
Oh, wow. That was 197.
Their claim to fame was no air conditioning was needed, and the Cornhuskers trained there for like 3 days in the offseason. Then Anchorage, Alaska, they offered me like $22,000. That was good, but they wouldn't fly me out. And then I thought it was like right above Seattle, but it's like 2,000 miles from Seattle. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing this drive. My dad's like, no. And that actually would have been really cool for 6 months.
Right.
So I went to Laredo.
In the summer.
Right, yeah. I went to Laredo for 4 months. And then I was already talking to Midland, Odessa before. That's only marking like 150, but like night and day. And there you get to cover Friday Night Lights, Permian football. And so that was cool. I was there a year and a half, but making still no money. But it was, West Texas desert. People were awesome. Then I went to Greensboro, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. 6 months in, the news station ceased operations. So I was without a job.
What happened?
They just decided, you know what? It was Sinclair Broadcasting. Mm-hmm. Bless you. So if you know anything about them, they just cut a bunch of stations, and so they cut that. And so I was out of work. I wore the same.
What age do you think you were at this time when you were out of work altogether? The station just shuts down.
Well, this was I was 25.
And make no mistake, you were in TV at this point. This was not radio. You were back in TV, and you were doing sports or what?
Yeah, so I was doing sports at the local ABC affiliate.
Okay.
And I just moved across the country, and it's like, okay, Duke, Carolina, NASCAR, Carolina Panthers, NC State, Wake Forest, NCAA, all that good stuff, right?
Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando, Justin Clark here, talking to Lee Goldberg with Revolution Realty, the GCI guys. So I'm fascinated by this. So because I'm
glad somebody is.
You see news people come in the market and out of the market all the time, and kind of have to act like a fan at that point. What do you do in news at that point? You have to act like you're a fan of the local team, don't you?
Well, not necessarily a fan, but those were iconic, especially at those programs, and even Dale Earnhardt. So having the opportunity to cover that firsthand was cool from the fact of a professional and as a fan. But for me, Carolina was a stepping stone.
Yeah.
But so when they shut down the news station, for a month I was unemployed. I wore the same pants every day, which I still own. I call them the unemployed pants, right. My Adidas.
Did you stay in North Carolina?
Yeah. Okay. So I hopped on with the CBS affiliate, which turned into a better position.
Same market.
Uh-huh. Told me I would never anchor. I was anchoring 30 days later. And I was there for about, maybe a year as a mercenary, if you will. That led to my job here. Let me tell you how I got the job here at Channel 6.
Right.
This is a great story. So the news director there knew Skip, the news director here. I heard through the grapevine a job was opening. So I call up Skip. By the way, I have no money, right? I'm like, hey, listen, I'm going to be down there, vacation, family vacation, going to be at Disney.
Meanwhile, I have no money or family.
Yeah, right. Come by and say hello, maybe get lunch or just say hello, just maybe I could drop my tape off, tell me what you think.
Right.
I knew that there were rumblings of a job, but I didn't bring that part up. And he's like, yeah, come on down. And yada, 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 like 2 months later, led to the job. And that was 2002. I was there 2007, loved every minute of it, still friends with everyone there. But part of me was, I was sick of moving. I am a Florida boy, but I was sick of moving, and I wanted to make more money. While I was doing well, I wanted to own my own business. I didn't want to work for the man. I didn't want someone to tell me I had to shave that day if I don't want to.
Exactly.
If I want to take off. And so for me, the entrepreneurial spirit came through. So I knew where I wanted to be. How we got to real estate, well, there was a peanut company in between. But then Gary and I, my partner, we were doing radio together at the time. and we had a gym sponsor, Bodies by Mahmood. I don't know if you know Bodies by Mahmood.
I remember seeing that. It was right on right
Orange
downtown.
Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there, I think. Mahmood's a great guy. And we were working out. We were in the shower together one day, separate stalls. Not that there's anything wrong with
Now,
it, of course.
did Mahmood actually pay you, or you just got free gym memberships?
Yeah, it was a trade situation. Yeah, so he would train us. So Gary
I'm
and
not
I,
trying to blow your cover or anything.
Oh,
here.
it's
I'm
all
just saying.
good.
right.
Listen, I haven't been to a gym since. So that was
Okay.
like, what, 2009?
Yeah.
So, literally, we're in the shower, and Gary's like, you should get your real estate license with me. I'm like, what? And he already had his real estate license.
And this is Gary Cole we're talking about. Your partner, of course, with GCI.
And he was at Channel 9 for many
That's
years
what I was going to
as well.
say. He was a sports guy as well at Channel 9, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And when we started this, our thing was, hey, we used to cover the home team. Now we want to be your home team.
Beautiful.
And so I was first 2 years, I wasn't sure that this is what I wanted to do. And I was doing it to make money, and it was...
Well, hold on, time out.
Yeah.
So did we stop the TV stuff when we started real estate, or was there some overlap?
TV ended 07.
Okay.
Then I tried to launch a peanut company for a few years, and then real estate was 09, and I was really just trying to figure out what I wanted in life. I knew I didn't want to be broke anymore, and I knew I needed to do something.
And by this time, you probably had become a father as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you didn't want to move around the country with your beautiful little daughter.
Yeah, well, that was 2005, right? So
Okay.
she was, for the last 2 years of television,
Right.
she was there, but she never really saw me on television. Now, over the years, luckily, people call me for some reason, and on News 13 or Fox 35,
Yeah.
9. I've actually made the rounds in the last year and a half on every single station in this market.
Good.
And thankfully to everybody, which is awesome. And so I didn't want to keep moving with my daughter, exactly. And but 2012, that was a tough time. So I got into this business at the worst possible time. And the worst time in history in
Sure.
2009, 2010, we were doing all those short sales
Oh, yeah,
together.
I remember.
I was running around all the way down to Polk County, putting on lock boxes. We probably had 35 pending deals and maybe 3 closed,
And it was a crazy, crazy time. And how are times really now? I think we're going to talk about the old times, but also tell you exactly what to expect in this real estate market over the next year. And also, we'll play Stump the Clarky. Very short break. We'll be right back on Behind the Law.
Allie, I'm doing radio right now. What's up, baby?
So
We just
first
talked
of
about you. What?
First of all, you can't jump on me for saying unmanned and then say working for the man.
Oh, yeah.
Several times.
That's a good point.
The person he works
Working
for.
for the person. I wasn't jumping on you necessarily. I was jumping on the story.
Working for
But I don't know how to politely say unmanned. I mean, I think
It's just unmanned.
Unmanned.
I also
It's
feel
just
like
kind of
we're
the
all
word.
mankind at this point,
We are mankind. We should be person kind.
So
I think it's getting overboard with
Of
some of the
course.
political
Yeah.
correctness.
super
You think?
It's, let me tell you something, with the way our children are,
self-identifying.
our society's at risk, guys. The Roman Empire fell after 900 years. We might not last that long. It's really sad.
It's getting there. It's getting pretty sad.
Did you watch last night by any chance?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was amazing. I can't wait for tonight. Tonight's going to be awesome. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and Sleepy Joe. Oh, this is going to be great. I wish SNL was on like right after last night.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was it was great.
All right.
So, all right. So we'll talk. We're going to talk about from like that crazy time and.
Yeah, we're gonna play a little trivia game, and then we're gonna talk about whatever you want, basically.
Yeah.
About you
Unrelated.
guys.
Unrelated, I might be on a game show. I can't
Oh,
say
yeah?
it on air, but yeah,
Sweet.
for trivia. What am I doing this card?
Well, we'll practice right now.
I actually wrote down Brittany and I had to change it to Rihanna. I'm glad I wrote it down.
That's hilarious.
Okay.
We'll give you a new card. This is not for trivia.
You ready?
Yeah.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. It is Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. My name is Justin Clark. Thanks for spending your evenings with me. The beautiful Brianna is here to my right. Hello, Brianna.
Hello, Justin.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay.
Watch the TV shows this weekend and every weekend. CBS, 12:30 p.m. It is You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Sunday morning, it is this show Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television over on TV 27 at 10 a.m., and you can always watch us every weeknight by following at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and apparently Twitch. We love you Twitch viewers, by the way. I love it. Love that Twitch.
Hello to the Twitchers.
Love it.
I've never heard of Twitch until today.
That is our very special guest, Lee Goldberg. He is with Revolution Realty, the GCI guys, him and his partner, Gary Cole. Excellent real estate agents here in Central Florida. Let's say I have some real estate questions. I want to list my house. I want to figure out what the value is, or I want to buy a house. How do I reach out to Lee Goldberg?
Very simple. Call or text 407-223-6965. Always at the GCIguys.com, obviously all over social media. But we're available all the time. You call or text, and you'll get a response literally right away.
Beautiful. So we're going to play this little game, all right? Might be practice for you. I won't talk about that. But we're going to play this little game called Stump the Clarkie. Brianna's going to ask us 4 questions, all right? We're going to write all 4 questions down. We'll come back, and we will score the game. Don't be nervous. She likes to see me lose, Lee. So it's very likely
to win.
It's very likely going to be a category that you know a little bit about. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
If it's
All
sports,
right,
I'm going
and
to
now
fail
it's time for
miserably.
Stop the Clarkie. Come on, Clarkie. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarkie. Get over here.
Thank you very much, Fulton Allen. Brianna, what is said category today?
Well, of course, Justin, it's all about real estate.
Oh, I'm so surprised.
I know you were.
All right, let's get right to it.
Let's do it. What is the population of Metro Orlando?
All right.
What is the population?
Are we including the coast, Brevard, and Volusia? To me, that would be the whole DMA.
I don't think so.
I think
If we're
like
going in TV market size.
those high metro areas? I think
Okay,
is what they're
so I'm going to have
looking
2 answers just for the record.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You always have to
Do a-
question the questioner.
for. Do a high-low situation.
Yeah.
Question number 2. How many counties are there in the state of Florida?
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh.
gosh. What?
We're starting to run out of questions. I'm so happy this is like the
my.
last real estate
And
on real estate month because I am done with questions.
I'm a native Floridian, by the way. And I don't know that answer.
Well, in
but-
South Florida, we have like 5. I think once you get up a little bit further north, they get a little smaller.
Yeah, there's
Right.
so many.
Just like,
All right, I got a number.
put a number down. We'll figure it out. For the year, this applies for the year 2019. As of May 2019, how many homes have been sold in the U.S.? As of May 2019, how many homes have been sold in the United States?
Wow.
Lee, you're not making this easy for me, okay? I don't know what's happening.
How many homes in the U.S.?
What is this? You're making noises like that. I feel like Justin's gonna win. all
Yeah.
right? That's the sound of defeat.
This
Lee.
is a
No,
how many homes?
I don't feel very good about it either.
I need to hear your battle cry, buddy. What is going on?
I'm not
I'm gonna
feeling
put a number out there
very
that's
good.
just so stupid. I have no idea.
I feel like he's just out here guessing.
Yeah,
Man.
I was not prepared for a test.
I am starting to regret betting on you. So, question number 4.
Whoa. When did you bet on him?
Yeah, I don't just because I'm in Vegas. I don't
yeah.
gamble.
Look, the office take bets every day
Oh,
on you.
I see,
you know.
I see. Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
The average home buyer takes how many days to close on a property after the first initial visit to the home? The average home buyer takes how many days to close on a property after the first initial visit to the home?
All right. That one I think I have. Are we playing Price is Right rules? So if I'm below the number, like I win. If he's above, he
No,
loses.
it's just closest to.
like close. Really?
Closest to.
On either end of the spectrum.
Yep. So you don't want to play $1.
I think it should be Price is Right rules,
I
guys.
know, right? $1.
All right, let's score this game. It's Stump the Clarkie right here on Behind the Law. ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark playing against Lee Goldberg with Revolution Realties, the GCI guys. Brianna is asking. Easy for me to say the questions tonight. Go ahead.
Yes. So, question number 1: what is the population of Metro Orlando?
All right, let's go with our very special guest, Lee Goldberg. Lee, what did you guess?
Well, remember, if we're talking DMA and including the coast, Brevard and Volusia, I'm going 3 million.
Okay.
With that, I'm going 2 million. Really closer to 2.3.
I went with 2.3 million.
Oh.
What is the right answer tonight?
It's 2.5 million.
2.5 million.
Lee, come on.
In fairness, we both. I mean, I did
They're
say
close enough.
2.3 as well,
I
though.
mean, you did, but I don't even feel like you wrote it down.
I did not write that down, but if you
That's
okay.
all
You're
right.
like,
Going
it's
into
either 2 or 3.
Well, we've got 3 more questions to go. You have plenty of time to come back. 0 to 1, Justin Clark
If
pulls
we
ahead.
go by the average, though, I win because I said 2 and 3,
Yeah.
so it's
Good point.
2.5. I hit the number on that.
It's kind of true. How many counties are there in the state of Florida?
All right, I'll go first here. I'm really not sure, but I went with 80. 80. Lee
went-
Goldberg, what do you have?
48.
48. What is the correct answer?
67.
67. Uh-oh, Justin Clark pulls ahead.
No, you're 13 away. I'm 12.
Hold on.
Wait, did you say 67 or 60?
67.
Oh, I'm sorry. You
That's
win
all
by a
right. Don't worry
landslide.
about it. The good thing is if you get one of the next 2 right, you get 2 points. If you get it right on
If
the
you
nose.
get right on the nose, you get.
All right, question
Works
number
out.
3.
As of May 2019, how many homes have been sold in the U.S.?
All right, back to you, Lee Goldberg.
I'm so off and so low. I put 500,000.
I'm probably way too high, so you might get this. I initially said 1.3, but then I changed it to 2.3 million houses so far in 2019.
700,000.
Hey, Lee Goldberg is correct.
All
Good
right.
job.
There we go, Lee. Now we're-
2 for Justin,
We're in
1
the
for
game.
Lee. Heading into question 4. What do we sell a month here in the Greater Orlando area? Like 2,500? Is that kind of average?
I listen. This is one of my rules, or just the way I do. But I only care. I only worry about what I have to
Yeah.
worry about in
Good.
ourselves. I don't know other people's numbers.
I like that.
I know what we do a month right
Yeah.
now. It's about almost 10. So,
Nice.
yeah.
That's a pretty big number right
It's a
there. I
great
like
number.
it.
But it's also many years of hard work and driving a taxi for a while too.
Exactly. All right, final question here for a Thursday night edition of Stump the Clarky.
So the average home buyer takes how many days to close on a property after the first initial visit to
All
the
right,
home?
this one threw me off a little bit because
Yeah.
normally you think 30 days to close, but this was
First
starting.
initial visit. So what
But-
if she looks at homes for 4
Sure.
days?
And you've
after
had plenty
that?
of customers like that. But also keep in mind, some of these people are cash buyers, so it's not the normal 30 days, too. So I kind of averaged those 2 out, and I went with 39 days. Lee Goldberg,
40.
40 days. All right. We're so nervous, Brianna. You got to give us the right
Come
answer.
on. Big money, big money, big money, big money.
73 days.
What? 73. Lee Goldberg comes back to tie this edition of Stump
Do we
the
have a
Clarky
bonus question?
2-2. No bonus question tonight, but we got to start getting the bonus questions together. I think
I feel like that's great.
We're
You've been
tying
tying
too much.
a lot.
I know.
You've been tying a
Good
lot.
job, Lee Goldberg.
Okay, folks, thank you so much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
All right, Lee Goldberg, GCI guys. So you and I went through this terrible crisis together. 2006 was the absolute peak of the market, as we all know.
Before I was in the business.
2000, even 9, 10, 11, 12, just a nightmare for really all of Central Florida. I mean, maybe even you could say we were the epicenter of the economic collapse. I mean, it was terrible. But now it's certainly come back. I mean, what kind of market are we in right now? Are we still in a crazy seller's market or not?
Yeah. Well, it was terrible then. And, when I got into this knowing nothing, I saw what the possibilities were. And I looked at history and I studied and said, okay, short-term pain, long-term gain. And like I said, over that time, I had to drive a taxi for a short while, just making extra money. But where we got to from now is we just started building and building and building and just doing the right thing. When you do that, the business comes. But where are we at today? And right now, it depends. There are micro markets within our market. The market as a whole is very healthy. If you go to somewhere like, say, Belle Isle, right now, it is insane what is happening there. Homes in the mid-threes that are going for $20,000 and $30,000 above list price
Really?
cash.
Is that where you live? Belle Isle? Yeah. That's where she. Am I not supposed to say that?
I
don't know.
We just
they
put in for someone an offer $10,000 above list cash.
Really?
And we lost out.
No.
10 like that happened years ago. That's not happening right now. But in Winter Garden, that's not happening. Where they're awesome homes, smaller lots, taking a little bit while to sell because there's a lot of new construction at the same time.
And the rental market here is totally out of control. It's great if you're a landlord, but if you're really trying to put a roof over your house, renting in Central Florida is not the way to go. What are some great areas that you can purchase a house for a reasonable price? Let's ask Lee Goldberg that on the other side of this very short break. One more segment ahead of Behind the Law.
What are you on Instagram?
I think ATTY Justin
Okay,
Clark.
got it.
Or or Behind the Law Radio.
Behind the Law Radio?
All right. What have I not hit on that you want to touch on, Lee?
Nothing. I'm good,
right.
man. Whatever you want.
You ready?
Yes.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
One final segment ahead. Justin Clark here with you. The beautiful Brianna's to my right, to my left. Lee Goldberg with Revolution Realty, the GCI guys. He and Gary Cole are fantastic real estate agents here in town. Lee, if I want to reach out, I want to see what my house is worth. I'm thinking about selling my house. I want to buy a house. How do I find you?
Well, I want everyone to just think of us as I'm a free educational resource. At any moment, you have any question, just call me. You want to know what the value is, or if you just want to talk about the health of the market, call or text direct 407-223-6965. You could always find me at lee@thegciguys.com, at the GCI Guys all over social media. But seriously, we are a free educational resource, and I'm going to save you money on the buy side or the sell side by giving you money back, free use of our moving truck, local moves only, and then, of course, some other great perks that we offer.
What kind of market are we in now? And let me preface that by saying we've heard for the last 2 years that it's a crazy seller's market. You've got to come in and pay over asking price and all sorts of things. Has it calmed down at all?
A little, but not really. Again, it goes back to the mini markets within each market. If something is awesome that comes on the market, you're going to have to come correct with a good offer, especially if you're below 300. I've had a lot of buyers recently between the 2 and 250 where a lot of realtors don't want to touch them. I love those sort of buyers. The first-time home buyers, my favorite type of buyers. There's such a great feeling of knowing that I got someone their first very home that they ever wanted. So those folks, that's where you need to come, top dollar, and if you need that closing cost help, you're going above list price, no question. And then you got to hope that the home appraises. But it depends where you're at. You know, you're not going to find in Metro Orlando. It's going to be tough to find a home for $220.
Yeah.
It's just going to be tough.
What do you mean by closing cost help? Describe how that works.
So when you buy a home, traditionally there's two things that you're going to need money for, and that's going to be your down payment. If you're a VA, and thank you for your service, if you do a VA loan or a USDA loan, which usually means in the outskirts of town, there's no down payment for you. You can if you want, but you don't have to. So usually you're going to have at least 3% down, 3% for conventional, 3.5% for FHA. So let's just use a $300,000 house, for example. You're going to need at least $9,000 for your down payment. You put down 1 for your deposit. That means you got to come to the table with 8 more. However, you have closing costs. The buyer and the seller each have their own. It's roughly anywhere between 3 and 4% of the purchase price. So it's the same, almost $9,000. So right now you need $18,000 to buy a home. Now, if you're not getting down payment assistance, which there's some out there, but not a whole lot these days, right? There's some programs that can offer you some stuff. So you're going to need that help in the closing costs. And so the way to do that is if you're coming in, say the home is on the market for a day and it's nice and it's in a great area in a good school district, you're not going to get closing cost help most likely because you're probably going to lose out on a cash deal. But let's just say the home's been on the market for a couple of weeks. It meets your criteria. There's some activity going on. They might have lowered the price or maybe they're about to. We could say, hey, listen, we're going to come in at $300, but we need about $9,000 back in closing, or I need $5,000 in closing, whatever. So we try to negotiate that out. But the problem is if it doesn't appraise and they got to take less, then that puts that closing cost help in jeopardy because the seller, if they just lost 10 on their value, now they got to give you another 9. That's a $20,000 swing right there, especially if they just lowered it by 10. Now it's a $30,000 swing. So there's a lot of moving parts there. But the bottom line is, as long as you have the right education around you, if you've got the right realtor like myself, if you've got the right lender like one of our guys, Dallas, out there, if you got the right team around you, we're going to be able to help you out and instruct you in the correct way and say, listen, here are your options. Do what is best for you. We're going to help interpret that for you.
What do you think about this? So there are some areas of town that are clearly just too expensive for some of us. I mean, not everyone can afford to buy a house in Windermere. We could barely buy an apartment in Windermere. Not all of us can live in Heathrow or Alaqua.
Yep.
Do you know of any areas for those of us that don't have a ton of money, but we don't want to rent anymore, but we think we can afford $250, something like that?
Yeah.
Are there any areas out there that are still affordable?
Yeah, there are. Right now, the best value, just for the record, that I'm seeing is in Davenport, Four Corners, even Mount Dora, if you want to go out there. Oh, yeah, Mount Dora, there's some great stuff happening. DeLand, Volusia County. So for those people when you're talking about the Lake Marys and Heathrow, that area of the world, you can easily go over to Volusia County and get so much more for your money, whether it's a resale or new construction. I closed today on a new construction home in Home at a great price. So going out on the outskirts right now is where the place to be if you want to get the best value. With that said, there's other good areas too. East Side, you could get some stuff. Even in Ocoee right now, and Apopka, you got some good stuff.
Hey, Justin Clark here talking to Lee Goldberg on Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Lee, so we see all these new huge developments popping up, new construction. You know it because you recognize the name of the builder. You see all the flags in front. You know, there are a ton of these neighborhoods going up. You go in, there's a nice little lady or a nice dude at the sales desk and act like they're trying to help you out. But do you recommend I find my own real estate agent before going into one of these neighborhoods?
I'm really glad you asked that. And the question is an absolute yes, and here's why. While those folks are great, who do they work for?
Yeah, of course.
They work for the builder. Here's the thing to know about new construction. There is always a commission built into it, okay? You're not going to get a discount. No builder is going to say to you, if you don't have a realtor, I'll use that commission as a discount. It's not going to happen. So that money goes back to the builder. But if you have a realtor, okay, number one, they're going to help protect you and be with you. Wow, I hit that's a loud microphone. And they're going to be with you throughout the entire process. I did it again. I'm excited.
You can't hear it on the air.
Oh, great. Okay, cool. So, but more importantly, if it was me, I give our clients, our buyers, money back at closing. So if you're a hometown hero, if you're a veteran, military, police, teacher, nurse, I give you $2,000 back at closing. If you're a regular person, I just give you $1,000 back. So I'm giving you money. And sometimes if you're leasing and you're renting and you need to get out, I could help buy you out of your lease. But the point here is you got to have that realtor. And if you go in, you say, hey, listen, I am represented. I want to put my realtor's name down. If they say, sorry, your realtor must be present, then don't fill out a card or just leave. Because why? Think about this for a moment. If you go in just to window shop, but you don't have a realtor with you, or you don't have a realtor yet, and then you get to a point a week later you want to purchase. Sorry, you came in and you're registered without a realtor, so we're not going to allow you to have representation. I'd be running for the hills at that point. I'd say, wait, why don't you want me to have representation? So I do so much new construction as part of what I do. I recommend things like, hey, get an inspector, not just at the end, but do it pre-drywall so you know what the issues are. Get the double of the inspection. Have me there with you because I could point things out. But when things go bad, and I promise they will, delays, lies, oh my gosh, lies. They'll tell you one just to shut you up. They'll tell you things, right? But when you've got a guy who sold probably, I got to go look at the number, I don't know, 150 new construction homes in my career, we know what we're doing. We've been there. And I'm going to give you some money back. So but if it's not me, have somebody.
What about
upgrades?
Construction? Upgrades, because it makes me nervous when people go in there by themselves. They see the model home, which the model home, of course, has every upgrade on God's green earth in there. And then they sign a contract, and then they're like, oh, well, it's going to be $60,000 more than we discussed because we didn't know you wanted cabinetry.
Yeah.
You know, how does that work with these new builders and upgrades?
Some builders are great. So, for example, look at someone like Lennar. Everything's included, right? So they're giving you good floors for the most part, good cabinets, good countertops. You can upgrade that, but you don't need to.
Right.
And then there's other builders that just have entry level. They have Formica still. You know, it's 2019. You're selling someone for mica? Are you kidding me? That's I'm not going to say who it is. That's ridiculous, right? But you don't want to go crazy. Like, you don't want to do crown molding through the builder. You want to have good countertops. You want to have good cabinets. You want to have good floors, but don't go crazy. Like, for example, if you know you want hardwood, go with the carpet and put the hardwood in after. But there are too many people in the world that just want it done at the beginning, and I get that because also it's part of the financing versus paying outside. So there's pros and cons. You just need to, again, and that's why you have a guy like me where we can say, hey, don't put your money in this. If you're going to do an extended lanai, that might be a great idea because you got to think resale, but you also want to think quality of life.
And I also think that, take your agent with you the first time you walk in because you know how it goes. Sometimes we buy with our eyes first. So if you walk into the neighborhood and you start talking to them, you could be tempted to buy right there. I like you to take the agent when you go, just to be safe.
I think so too. Now I've had someone like, for example, a gentleman from Indianapolis that was a referral from one of my best clients ever. We've been looking for homes. I have them on searches, and I get a call. Hey Lee, we're going to contract for one of your clients a new construction.
Nice.
So as a realtor, I'm like, awesome, that's cool, great. But he knew what he was doing. He was very in tune and a very smart guy. So, but there are other times where you're like, hold on, let's make sure everything here is kosher. There are too many realtors that think with their wallet. Right?
Lee Goldberg, Revolution Realty, GCI guys. How do I reach out, Lee?
407-223-6965. Follow me on social at the GCI guys.
So will you really come back and host the show, guest host for me someday?
Anytime.
Because I need a vacation.
Do it, man.
All right.
Gary and I will come in. We'll relive the old days. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Lee Goldberg, everybody. Reach out to him if you have any questions. For the beautiful Brianna. Brianna, I don't know much, but I do know one little tiny thing.
What's that?
I will see you right back here tomorrow night on ESPN 580 Orlando. Good job.
That was awesome.
That was fun.
You're